Hey everybody, my name is Umar Lodi, and for this assignment, I wanted to talk to you all about glaciers, those giant, slow-moving rivers of ice. They're actually responsible for a lot of the dramatic landscapes that we see around the world, in places like Yosemite and, the Alps over in Europe. So let's get started. So, what even is a glacier? Basically, it starts as regular snow in cold places. Unlike Florida, snow doesn't melt all the way in the summer, so it just starts to pile up. And over the years, that snow gets squished down and turns into solid ice, as this diagram here starts to depict. But eventually, it gets so heavy that it starts to flow downhill, kind of like a super slow motion river, I guess you could say. And here's where it gets a little more interesting. So, as they move, they pick up rocks and debris called plucking. Then, all that stuff acts like sandpaper, grinding away at the ground underneath. That process is called abrasion. It's not fast, but over thousands of years, it really adds up. One of the coolest things glaciers do is reshape valleys. Rivers usually carve out V shaped valleys, but glaciers turn them into big U shaped valleys with steep sides. If you ever seen a valley that looks like a giant scoop was taken right out of the earth, that was probably a glacier. I put up two pictures, as you can see. On the left, that's a V-shaped valley, pretty clear, and then on the right, the U shape that I mentioned before, it kind of looks like just a scoop was taken right out of it, and that's the effect of a glacier. Sometimes smaller glaciers join up with bigger ones, but they don't cut as deep. When the ice melts, you get these hanging valleys, which often turn into waterfalls. Pretty common in places like Yosemite. I put up some of these pictures, as you could see. The beautiful, beautiful sights to see, and yeah, really, really amazing. But when glaciers melt, they leave behind piles of rock and dirt called moraines. You'll see these, as long ridges or mounds in places that used to be covered by ice. As you can see there in that picture, that little black trail, that is a moraine. And some of the biggest features in North America, like the Great Lakes on the side, were carved out by glaciers. The same thing goes for some of those dramatic fjords in Norway. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. So yeah, glaciers, they move slow, but over time they totally transform the landscape. And I guess my advice to you is if you see a U-shaped valley or a big lake in the near future, just remember that a glacier probably had something to do with it. And even though the last ice age ended, a couple years ago, glaciers are still out there, shaping the land in places like Alaska and the Himalayas. And so, yeah, thank you so much for listening to me, and take care.